afternoon from Press Box at Stevenson Stadium. I'm Veronica Kovac here to bring you Behind the Whistle, the Stevenson High School Coaches Show on the Stevenson Broadcast Network. During each episode, we have the opportunity to sit down and talk with a different head coach here at Stevenson. On this episode, we are lucky enough to be able to talk to varsity field hockey coach Janette Eichfeld. Coach Eichfeld, thank you for joining us today.
Oh, thank you, Veronica.
You've been coaching field hockey at Stevenson since 1998. What is your background and what initially brought you to Stevenson?
Oh, that's a good question. I actually started playing hockey in high school, similar to a lot of the players here, and fell in love with it and actually participated in adult hockey, college hockey, officiated everything since those times. So I've been involved for over 30 years, and I was lucky enough to know somebody at work, where I work at, to come and interview for a coaching position back in '98, and was lucky enough to get it. And ever since I've been here, because I just love the game and I love giving back to the sport.
Wonderful. Field hockey is a sport that has made some inroads in the Chicago area, but hasn't yet seen the explosion in popularity like lacrosse has in the last few years. Do you see field hockey becoming more popular, or what do you think will take for the sport to increase in popularity in our area?
Another good question. Yes, field hockey is increasing in popularity ever so slowly. It's not as fast as lacrosse. A lot of it's due to the difficulty of the game and the equipment that's needed. Lacrosse is a little simpler. You only require a stick and a mouth guard, whereas field hockey requires a little bit more than that. I think in order to increase the popularity in this area, we have to get more coaches involved with a lot of experience in playing, and we have to get a lot more officials, because that's our biggest problem right now. To introduce any more schools into this sport will require a lot more officials, and that's the avenue we have to take as coaches, is to get the news out that we need officials.
In order to play field hockey at Stevenson, is it necessary that the girls have prior experience?
No, by no means. We actually hold a summer camp through the prep office, and we get new players introduced to it, and then we also spend an extra day with the new players during tryouts to help them get used to it. And to be honest, as long as you can show that you can work with a stick and a ball and you're coordinated and you're able to deal with all the conditioning that we do, because it is a running game, most of the time you're seriously considered as a player for the team.
Great. What do you look for in players when putting together your field hockey and lacrosse teams?
In general, we're looking for girls who are coordinated, athletic, they're fast. Both lacrosse and field hockey are running sports, so you have to be willing to run for an extended period of time. You have to be willing to go against one-on-one against someone and be able to avoid them and that sort of thing. Lacrosse is a little different because lacrosse is obviously played in the air, so you have to be able to catch and throw, versus in field hockey, which is a ball on the ground, you have to be able to hit with a one-sided stick in the direction that you want it to, basically. So,
can you tell us a little about the makeup of the present team?
Our present varsity squad is composed of 6 seniors, and we have about 7 returnees. We field 11 on the field at one time, so we have a relatively inexperienced team this year. But this team is really starting to gel, and so we've been getting better each and every day.
Who are the newcomers people can pay attention to this year? Are there any rising stars in the league?
Well, we have one sophomore, Nikki Novoselsky, and she has really come along a great deal in the past few games. As a matter of fact, she's been a starter for several of our games now. She's a midfielder, and she's really figured out how to work against the opponent and to get the balls back. And we have an excellent set of juniors, and there's so many of them, I really can't pick one out, but all of them have done an outstanding job this year, as well as the seniors, of course.
That's great. What goals have you set for your team, or has your team set for itself this year?
Well, our goal as a team is to be successful, however you define that. So what we're defining it as is having at least a 500 record from a win-loss perspective, but we also look at it as how often do we meet the game goals that we set each and every game, and we're assuming that as long as we make a majority of those, we're a successful team. From a coaching perspective, I look at how we started in the first game to how we end in the last game, and we can see a big difference in how we play together. That, to me, is a successful year.
How do you and your staff get your team prepared for a game against a particular opponent? Do you have any special rituals that you do, stretching?
Special rituals? Well, it's funny because every year since '98, I think we've had this box of Lucky Charms that comes to every game, so that's our big ritual for the day. As far as motivating on the players, we remind them who we're playing, what their strengths and weaknesses are, and then we practice towards that. We also anticipate that the captains take on a lot of that motivational aspect and get the team charged up and ready to go right from when the whistle starts and keep them moving through to the end of the game. And that's one thing our teams always do. They never back down. They're always in every game and very competitive.
Real dedicated, sounds like. Are there any special motivational techniques that you and your staff do throughout the season? Anything before a game, after a tough loss, or to get them ready for playoffs specifically?
Well, again, we rely a lot on our captains. The coaches know, because we've all been together for several years now, we know the teams very well, and they really don't change from year to year. There's a slight difference in how everybody approaches the game, but for the most part, we all understand the coaching philosophy for everybody else. So we don't do any scouting, and to be honest, our schedule is so tight we don't have the time to do scouting. So our anticipation is that the captains take on a lot of the motivational techniques, and I know they have a lot of pasta parties, they've had movie nights, they have breakfast on like a Saturday before games, that sort of thing. And that seems to work really well. The teams, like I say, always really bond strongly.
On a final note, how does the future of Stevenson field hockey look based on what you see coming up, even in the junior highs? Is there any reason for excitement for upcoming Stevenson field hockey seasons?
Well, one of the struggles we have in field hockey is that the junior highs don't have the sport, but we are hearing that a couple of the junior highs now are starting to introduce it in the physical ed classes, and we have seen it this year. We had a couple players that liked it so much they came out, they've started off very well, and they're doing quite well. The future of the program truly is with the junior highs, but to be honest, I look at the JV teams each and every year, and both our JVA and JVB teams are superb this year. I think that this bodes well for the next 3 to 4 years, just depends, and if we can build the junior high program, we'll be even stronger.
Well, that's just about all the time we have for today. Coach Eichfeld, thank you so much for your time today. I'd also like to thank Stevenson Athletic Director Trish Betthauser, Jason Carlson and Jeremiah Enright at WAES, and most importantly, Joe Pine and the crew at SHS TV. Thanks for all of your hard work. Until next week, for Coach Eichfeld and the entire crew of the Stevenson High School Coaches Show Behind the Whistle, I'm Veronica Kovac, and thanks for watching.